you Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, March 4th, 2025 formal council meeting. We're happy to have you join us, and whether you're here in person or online, and we hope that you continue to participate in whichever manner that you feel most comfortable. So thank you very much. So let's start our meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance. So please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And again, welcome. And as we always do, I'm just going to go through and read through the public meeting rules. And before we move through the agenda, I want to quickly go through the registration information and our rules and standards for public meetings. We welcome everyone, and the council's goal is to make the meeting a place where people feel safe and comfortable participating in their government. We invite everyone to help us make a welcoming space, and a respectful and safe environment allows us to conduct the meeting in an orderly and efficient way. Our most basic rule is that any action that causes a disruption to our ability to conduct the meeting or any safety concerns involving threats or unprotected speech are not allowed. These actions or comments may result in removal from the meeting. As a reminder of our public comment registration process, individuals may register to comment on scheduled public hearing items up until the hearing is closed. For the general comments section, we will accept signups until 7:30. The general comments section is limited to a maximum of 1 hour and will only include commenters who register before 7:30. So if you're here to give general comments, please sign up and remember that it's possible not everyone who signed up may be able to speak. We will now move on to item A4, and the council will consider adopting a joint ceremony resolution with Mayor Mendenhall recognizing March as National Women's History Month in Salt Lake City. I will now turn the time over to Councilmember Young to read the resolution.
Thank you, Councilmember Dugan. So I am pleased to read the joint resolution recognizing March 2025 Women's History Month in Salt Lake City. Whereas Women's History Month, celebrated annually in March, honors the contributions and achievements of women throughout history and in contemporary society. And whereas Women's History Month provides an opportunity to recognize and commemorate the countless women who have made significant strides across various fields. And whereas Salt Lake City acknowledges the invaluable role that women have played in shaping the cultural, economic, and social fabric of our community, contributing to its growth, diversity, and resilience. And whereas Salt Lake City recognizes the importance of promoting gender equality to ensure a more just and equitable society for all. And whereas the theme of Women's History Month 2025, Moving Forward Together, Women, Education, and Inspiring Generations, celebrates the women who have dedicated their lives to education, mentorship, and leadership, shaping the minds and futures of all generations. And whereas the League of Women Voters has been a vital part of women's political power for over 100 years, from the historic days of the suffragettes to the election of the first female vice president, continuing to empower women and ensure their voices are heard in the political process. And whereas Women's History Month serves as a celebration of the progress made in advancing women's rights and a reminder of the ongoing work needed to build a more inclusive future. And whereas Salt Lake City is committed to fostering an inclusive and supportive environment where women are valued, respected, and provided with equal opportunities to thrive, now, therefore, be it resolved that the Salt Lake City Council and Mayor of Salt Lake City hereby honor and recognize Women's History Month 2025, encourage all residents to participate in activities and events that celebrate the achievements and contributions of women in Salt Lake City and beyond, and be it further resolved that Salt Lake City reaffirms its dedication to advancing gender equality and promoting the empowerment of women and girls in all aspects of life, pledging to continue working towards a more inclusive and equitable society for future generations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Councilwoman Young. I will now look for a motion.
Move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilor Pizarro, a second from Councilor Lopez Chavez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. And I'd like to welcome Catherine Beal, President of the League of Women Voters, for Utah to stand, join us, unless you want to say a few words. Sure, and then we can take a picture.
Thank you so much for this. You should know that we are up at the I'm sorry, am I hearing? It's echoing at me. We're up at the legislature fighting for you. We're fighting for a return to democracy, empowering voters, and believing in the city and the state. Thank you so much, and we appreciate this.
Thank you very much. Let's get a picture.
Modern-day suffragists right here, everybody. Big round of applause for our women.
This brings us to the public hearing section of our agenda. These are specific proposals before the council that requires a public hearing. Your comments should pertain to the hearing item, and if you go off topic, we'll ask you to stop your comment. Our meeting rules apply to hearing comments as well. Please avoid disruptions and threats, or we ask staff members to assist you out of the meeting. Also, as a reminder, comments that include profanity, personal attacks, intimidation, or discriminating language are not persuasive or compelling to the council. They're not helpful in creating a respectful and safe environment. To sign up for comments on any of the hearing items, please register online and turn your comment cards to the in-person staff, and we accept sign-ups until the hearing item is closed, as we said earlier. If you are on Zoom, unmute your mic, and when your name is called, and each person will have 2 minutes to speak. If you have a question or concern, please raise your hand in the Zoom or the on room for the staff assistant. If you're having technical issues in Zoom, our staff member, Daffodil Bugert, will assist you. If you reach the 2-minute mark, the host will announce time and your microphone will be muted. If you're unable to finish your comments, please share the rest via email, mail, or call our office. And contact information is listed on the slccouncil.com. So we will now go on to item B1, the 2025 to 2029 Housing and Urban Development Consolidated Plan Update and Timeline. I will turn the time over to Allison.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to note, this is the first of 2 public hearings on the FY 2026 Consolidated Plan and the HUD grants. So this first one on the Consolidated Plan outlines how the city intends to use grant money from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, over the next 5 years. The plan outlines the city's goals and strategies to address community needs and improve quality of life. These grants support local projects and programs in key areas like affordable housing, homelessness, transportation, economic development, and community services.
Thank you, Allison. Taylor, we'll take our first commenter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There is one person registered to speak to this item. That will be Nicole Keddington. Nicole, you may now unmute.
I am so sorry. I did the wrong item.
Okay, thank you.
And we do not have any commenters for this item.
I will look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that the council close the public hearing and refer the item to a future date for action.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Councilman Puya, a second from Councilman Young. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Hearing none, that passes unanimously. Our second item is item B2, the fiscal year 2025-26 funding allocations for 1-year action plan for community development block grant and other federal grants. I'll turn the time back over to Allison. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The council is reviewing recommendations from the mayor and the Community Development and Capital Improvement Program, or CDCIP, Advisory Board on how to use federal housing and urban development grants for fiscal year 2025 and 26. These help specialized nonprofits address community needs like affordable housing, homeless services, rental assistance, and much more. The total funding available this year is estimated to be nearly $7.8 million. The process for allocating these funds includes an open and competitive process among organizations that provide these services. The applications are reviewed by the CDCIP Advisory Board and the mayor, who forward their funding recommendations to the City Council. The City Council then reviews the recommendations, may make changes, and then votes to approve the grants to selected applicants.
Thank you, Allison. Taylor, our first commenter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have 11 people registered to speak to this item. The first will be Katie Dreyer, followed by Josie White, and then Nicole Keddington. Katie is here in person.
Thank you, Council. Hi, everybody. I'm the new Executive Director at Wasatch Community Gardens, and I just want to say that I came to know about WCG a number of years ago as a community gardener and fell in love with the organization and these important community spaces. So thank you for all the gardens across the city. Wasatch Community Gardens has requested $40,000 in CDBG funds to cover wages for participants in our farm-based job training program for women facing or experiencing homelessness. CDBG funds were recommended to us as the best source of funding for this organizational and city partnership, and I'm here tonight to advocate for this funding, as we understand our program has not been recommended in this first round. Our funding request of $40K supports wages for our program participants at our new City Farm location, which is managed in partnership with Salt Lake City Public Lands. This program provides paid employment, work readiness training, job placement assistance, and mentoring for women facing or experiencing homelessness. Approximately 80% of graduates of that program secure housing and employment within 6 months, and over 100 graduates are now contributing to our community with secure jobs and housing. This program operates at our new City Farm location, located at 7th West and 13th South, and the farm produces about $100,000 worth of fresh, healthy produce annually, which benefits the local community. Roughly half of individuals served by Utah shelters annually receive produce from our farming initiatives. I want to note that previously our job training program required $150,000 from the city budget, and we've restructured this program, reducing annual costs to $100K, with the $40,000 CBDG request for funding as an important portion of this programming. To quote one participant of this program, I learned about relating farming to real life. You're always finding solutions in gardening, and you never know what life's going to give you. If you can relate farming to life, you know there's more than
Time. Next will be Josie White, followed by Nicole Kennington, and then Karen Crow. Josie is here in person.
Good evening. My name is Josie White, and I am the philanthropic officer at Shelter the Homeless. First and foremost, we want to thank the Council in Salt Lake City for your ongoing support of our organization and homelessness as a cause. We understand that it is complex and nuanced. Tonight, we've been recommended by the mayor for $30,000 in ESG funding. We, of course, would like to advocate that you fill that request. The request is for our operations in our Salt Lake City locations. Right now, Shelter the Homeless operates 6 facilities with over 1,500 beds, accounting for 80% of all homeless shelter beds in Salt Lake County. As part of our operations, we provide meals that meet the nutrition needs of the homeless, security, which makes our facilities safe and welcoming, and transportation to help our clients get to and from the locations they need to help stabilize their lives. These are all the elements necessary to make our shelters a safe and welcoming place, a place that people want to take advantage of. Currently, 70% of our clients resolve their homelessness within 90 days or fewer. In recent weeks, nonprofits have come under fire in the United States for their ability to execute on their missions. I think myself, the council, and all the nonprofits represented today know that these are worthy causes, and nonprofits can respond to these issues in a flexible, innovative way that government might not be able to, and corporations might not see the value in, right? Sheltering homeless is not profit-driven. So on behalf of the nonprofits under consideration for funding tonight, thank you, and I urge you to consider the mayor's request. And that's
Next will be Nicole Kennington, followed by Karen Crow, and then Sasha Harvey. Nicole, you may now unmute.
Sorry about that. Hi, I am here to support the Salt Lake City Tai Chi group and nonprofit group that's helping homelessness in Salt Lake City. I used to live in Salt Lake City. I now still work in Salt Lake City, but I really think they deserve a lot more attention and a lot more focus for using really wonderful and inexpensive ways to help people feel seen. And it upsets me that the police and fire department workers who deal with homelessness on a day-to-day basis, in my own experience, are probably overworked and overstressed, but they don't have a lot of compassion. And I think that we need to help people to see that homeless people, it's not a subgroup of humanity. They are people and they deserve respect and a place to learn and grow and become better. And I just wanted to come and represent for them.
Next will be Karen Crow, followed by Sasha Harvey, and then Rebecca Dunstan. Karen is here in person.
Good evening. My name is Corinne Crow, and I'm the CEO of Habitat for Humanity Greater Salt Lake area. I want to express first my heartfelt gratitude for your recommendation of CDBG CDBG funds to support Habitat for Humanity's critical home repair program. Your commitment to preserving and strengthening affordable housing in Salt Lake City is impactful, and we are honored to possibly partner with you in this vital work. Thanks to CDBG and other funding that we have received, Habitat for Humanity has been able to repair, rehabilitate, and restore homes for low-income homeowners who otherwise may not have had the means to address these urgent health and safety needs. This program has helped seniors age safely in place, families stay in their homes, and individuals with disabilities gain the accessibility improvements they need to live independently. Over the past year alone, we have repaired homes for almost 200 people across the Salt Lake Valley and over 1,100 people over the course of the program. These repairs range from placing leaking roofs to installing accessible bathrooms. But behind every repair is a family whose home has been made safer, healthier, and more stable because of this funding. These repairs are more than just fixes, they are lifelines. They prevent displacement, they improve quality of life and preserve affordable housing stock in Salt Lake neighborhoods. On behalf of Habitat for Humanity and the many families whose lives will be positively impacted, we thank you for your potential support. Thank you so much.
Next will be Sasha Harvey, followed by Rebecca Dudston, and then Mary Calhoun. Sasha, you may now unmute.
Good evening, council members. My name is Sasha Harvey, and I'm the Executive Director of Salt Lake Donated Dental Services. I would like to start out by thanking Salt Lake City for being our gracious partner and supporter for many years, and for continued support year in, year out in our mission to improve oral health. Our nonprofit organization has been around for nearly 35 years. It started out with a local dentist who realized that the need for dental care exists in our own backyard, and the low income and patients and those who are experiencing homelessness here in Salt Lake City deserve to have high quality, comprehensive dental treatment that will help them break cycles of generational poverty and become more integrated members of society. I just wanted to let the council know that there are some changes on the state legislative level that will greatly impact oral health of Utahns in Salt Lake County due to defluoridation of water. So we are expected to experience an increase in need, especially for minorities and low-income patients. So we're so grateful for the continued support, and invite you all to visit our clinic and see the impact that the CDBG funding has made in the lives of our patients and our clinic. So please consider us for the funding in the upcoming year in order to meet this continuous and growing need for dental care in our neighborhoods, and empower our staff and volunteer providers to continue providing high quality care that our patients are deserving of. Thank you so much.
Next will be Rebecca Dudston, followed by Mary Calhoun, and then Jason Wheeler. Rebecca's here in person.
Thank you. And thank you to the council for recommending continued support of the Children's Center Utah for $40,000 for our therapeutic preschool program. For more than 60 years, we remain the only organization serving the mental health needs of our youngest citizens, infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and their families, providing them the mental health services and treatment that they need to get back on track and thrive. Research shows that Utah is among a group of states with the highest mental health needs among our youth, and also the highest rate of untreated need among our youth. Early interventions have been shown to improve children's current and future health, as well as reduce future use of services and treatment, and of course, lower involvement in the criminal justice system. Our therapeutic preschool program serves children ages 2 through 5 who've been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, trauma, and other stressor-related disorders. In the most recent year, 86% of our participating children are from low-income families. Our therapy is intensive, it's research-based, it's group-based,
and it improves their mental health and emotional well-being so they can succeed in traditional childcare, preschool, and kindergarten settings. I would like to just quickly read a success story from one of our families. The mom is named Shauna, and 4 adopted daughters attended the therapeutic preschool. She says, through the support we receive, the Children's Center Utah, our daughters are learning to cope with their hard feelings and turn to trusted adults for help. They have better social skills and are kinder friends. Most importantly to me, I'm able to wonder at the unique gifts of each daughter rather than constantly stressing about how to manage difficult behaviors and meltdowns. We're making a difference. We're a family's last resort, and we're changing their lives. Thank you so much.
Next will be Mary Calhoun, followed by Jason Wheeler, and then Roxy Harshfinger. Mary is here in person.
Hello, I'm Mary T. Calhoun with First Step House. I want to thank the CDCIP board, the housing stability staff, Mayor Mendenhall, and now the council for the time, the work, and the support that you put into this process. First Step House was really delighted to receive funding recommendations for behavioral health care in the homeless resource centers, for building improvements to our treatment and housing facilities, and rental assistance. The funding will help hundreds of people next year access treatment, complete treatment, and go on to build stable, independent lives after experiencing homelessness, incarceration, and substance use disorders. 2 of our projects were not recommended for funding. These are employment support and peer support services. And both of those programs have been funded all past years since 2019. So, and both programs are meeting objectives, they are changing lives, and they are really only getting better every year. So without funding from Salt Lake City next year, we're facing probably laying off staff and reducing the number of people we can serve in those 2 programs. I know that tremendous thought and care goes into the recommendation and review process, so we understand if those decisions are final. But we also hope the council is willing to reconsider and potentially extend some funding to prolong and extend these programs. Thank you all so much for your time tonight.
Next will be Jason Wheeler, followed by Roxy Harshfinger, and then Janice Kimball. Jason is here in person.
Salt Lake City Council members, thank you for your service to members of our community. I am Jason Wheeler, Director of Assist Community Design Center. Councilmember Mano, this is for you. While other architecture firms questioning their own profit margins might dispute this, we are unique as the only nonprofit design firm in the state. We are very grateful for the recommendation of the mayor and the council for funding Assist Emergency Home Repair and Accessibility Design Program. Since 1970, our organization has been preserving existing naturally occurring affordable housing throughout Salt Lake County, with the vast majority of that work happening right here in Salt Lake City. We achieve this as we help low-income individuals and families stay in their neighborhoods by repairing the most critical components of their homes, including roofs, furnaces, water heaters, plumbing lines, and electrical systems. Additionally, we leverage our experience in architecture and design to implement accessibility modifications to help those who are aging or with disabilities continue to live in their homes and communities with independence and dignity. These strategic interventions are performed on a grant basis for income qualifying households. Since 1999, our organization has helped over 5,000 unique households in Salt Lake County to stay in their homes. We perform about 350 home repairs per year, and the average income of those that we help is right around 30% of the area median income. And most of the people we help are over the age of 62. We anticipate that the need for this program will continue to increase due to increasing inflation and increasing cost of housing. Again, thank you for the recommendation for funding for the coming fiscal year.
Next will be Roxy Harshfinger, followed by Janice Kimball, and then Jeanette Padilla. Roxy, you may now unmute.
Everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. My name is Roxy Harshbarger. I'm the Workforce Development Program Manager with the International Rescue Committee in Utah. And we have put forth a $50,000 proposal for our vocational ESL program. The program is an 80-hour intensive ESL program for newly arrived refugees and asylum seekers. What makes it special and different from other offerings in the community currently is it has a job readiness focus, as well as digital and financial literacy and life skills. It's taught by a TESOL certified instructor that's teaching English to speakers of other languages, and it's completely free to our students as they are all in the low to moderate income bracket. We just wrapped up our first course and we saw a 47% increase in English proficiency among the students on the 1 to 6 English proficiency scale, which was really wonderful to see after just 80 hours in the classroom. This is a really important intervention for newly arrived refugees and asylum seekers to succeed in the workforce and to become economically self-sufficient. Otherwise, they're relying on public benefits and rent assistance, which does not last very long after arrival. The reason we started the program is because there are long wait times to enter other free ESL programming in the community, which our clients do not have. And there's no other program which specifically combines intensive ESL and workplace readiness together for this population. Thank you so much again for the consideration and for your time. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Next will be Janice Kimball, followed by Jeanette Padilla, and then Ibrahim Adsirusek. Janice is here in person.
Hello, I'm Janice Kimball. I'm the CEO for Housing Connect. We are the housing authority for Salt Lake County. We provide housing to just over 5,000 households each year. I would like to thank Salt Lake City for their continued support of our Housing for People with AIDS program. We are immensely grateful for the recommendation for $689,000. This amount will allow us to keep to house 53 low-income households, people living with AIDS or HIV. And this year, it's particularly helpful. We received notification that the state's HOPWAR program will no longer be funded. The good news for that is because there aren't enough people with AIDS in the state, but the bad news is that we do have some people living within this jurisdiction that are stably housed that we would like to be able to continue to house, and this level of funding will help us meet that goal. So thank you very much.
And next will be Jeanette Padilla, followed by Ibrahim Adirzik. Jeanette is here in person.
Good evening, Council. I'd like to start by thanking the CDCIP Board and the Mayor's Office for supporting our request for $30,000. Food Justice Coalition exists as an immediate resource for people experiencing food insecurity to be connected directly with free, nutrient-dense, ready-to-eat meals. These meals not only provide a immediate resource for them to have, in real time. It also helps alleviate time poverty, which is a symptom that so many people experiencing severe food insecurity live with. Our programs, through our free lunch program specifically, the majority of the individuals we serve include households with children under the age of 18. 61.7% to be precise of this program are households with children. We're very fortunate that in our programming, we have some very supportive community partners, approximately 45 community partners, both in the public and private space, support our programs, helping us keep our overhead very, very low. Currently, our kitchen facility where all our meals are produced is 100% subsidized by the Salt Lake Buddhist Temple. Our office space is 100% subsidized by Give Group. These subsidies will remain for a minimum of 1 more year. So your contribution will help us, we will utilize the majority of your funds to apply directly to the program, helping provide more meals to individuals who are already not only food insecure, but struggling to afford groceries and to keep up with the cost of inflation. So thank you all again for your consideration.
Next will be Ibrahim Abdirzik, who is here in person.
Good evening. My name is Abdirazak Ibrahim. I'm on behalf of Salt Lake American and including my own organizations, Somali community. Reasons why I came here. So I just want to say that something happened to me when I came to this country, especially Utah, 1998. I'm just going to give you an example. When I came as a refugee in 1998, I saw people riding UTA bus, and then I used to go to school in Horizonte, and then when I saw people riding a bus, and then I was coming inside, and then I came inside, I looked people pulling the rope, and then they're releasing, and then I say, why you don't do nothing? These people, they're pulling rope, and then they're releasing, and then next day I go home, and I slept, and then I catch the bus on 3300 South and State Street. I came inside the bus, and then I pulled the rope, I hold it, I never released it. And then people keep looking at me. When they look at me, I'm laughing, I thought I was doing the right things, until the driver bus came to me and explained to me, these things, you have to pull it and release. That's what happened to me when I came in 1998. Since, we have this organization, mainly we're just helping the community, refugees and immigrants, including homeless people on the west side of Salt Lake City. We do food bank 4 days, every Wednesdays and every Fridays, including 2 days middle of the month. And then we also teach ESL class, which we call like survival ESL class. Mainly we're teaching people like to go to open like your bank if they want to go to answer the phone. Or I know one of my clients happened, on the road while he was driving coming to the school, and then the police stopped him. And then by the time the police stopped him, he just said 3 things which we taught them. My name is Abdirazak, I'm from Somalia, I'm a refugee. And then the police understood this guy really need help. If we don't taught them those things.
Thank you.
That was the final registered commenter.
And thank you for everyone who made a comment. I will look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we close the public hearing and refer the action to the item to a future date for action.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Mono, a second from Councilmember Young. Any discussion?
Yes. Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Thank you. It's always, amazing to see this room full of people and people that are working so hard in the trenches, right, in the community, helping so many of our neighbors, so many people that sometimes we don't see, that you get to see and you get to know. It's humbling to see the work that you do. And it is very hard to spread out the peanut butter across all of the organizations. It really is probably one of the one of the biggest challenges we have, that we want to help you all. And we really want to support all the work that you do. And measuring the different projects and the different programs that you challenge, that you champion, is hard because they're all amazing and they're all doing good in their own spaces. I also want to, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for being here. We obviously haven't yet gotten to the council recommendation on this, and we're going to be looking into that in future meetings. Quickly, it is important to recognize that these funds come to our city from the federal government, and it is important that we keep these funds flowing because they come through us and they go to you, and it's the most direct allocation of money that impact our neighbors the most directly. You know what is effective. And unfortunately, we are seeing some of these funds threatened. And I want to make sure that you keep your eyes open and your ears sharpened to ensure that our cities, your organizations keep this funding flowing. The soon as these threats come, that we can organize and tell your stories loudly about what they are doing in our communities. I know there's not enough money there, but we cannot lose what we have. So I wanted to thank you and tell you that.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Pui. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item B3, an ordinance alley vacation between 1161 South 300 West and 268 West Paxton Avenue. And I will now turn the time over to Brian Fulmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a proposal to vacate the alley at the location you mentioned in Council District 5. If vacated, the property would be sold to the abutting property owners at market rate.
Thank you, Brian. Taylor for our first commenter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do not have anyone registered to speak to this item.
Okay, I will look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that the council close the public hearing and adopt the ordinance.
Second? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion for Councilmember Pui, a second for Councilmember Young. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Move on to item B4, a grant application, fiscal year 2024, Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program. And I will turn the time over to Sylvia Richards.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The city periodically applies for and receives grants which fund some city programs. Each grant receives a public hearing which gives the council and public an opportunity to learn about them. This is the 2024 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program local solicitation. And if approved, the grant would fund the purchase of 14 overt cameras and 1 trailer camera. And it also includes a subaward to Salt Lake County. As a reminder, the city applied for this grant. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sylvia. Taylor, our first commenter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do not have anyone registered to speak to this item.
Thank you. I'll look for a motion.
Move to close and defer the item to a future consent agenda for action.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Pui, a second from Councilmember Young. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Now moving on to a potential action. There are none comments. Any questions for the mayor from the city council? Thank you, Rachel, for being here. Lindsay, for always being here. I appreciate your support. Comments to the city council. Now this is the general comment portion of our agenda. This is for the public to comment on any city business not scheduled for a public hearing. This is limited to a maximum of 1 hour and only those individuals who have registered before 7:30. So I've just recently read our general rules. So let's keep it professional and be courteous of all the rest of the speakers. Taylor, I'll turn the time over to the first commenter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First will be Cindy Cromer, followed by Margaret Holloway, and then Polly Hartel. Cindy's here in person.
My comment tonight is a first in a series about proposed changes to the RMF 35 and 45 zones. I own 5 buildings in the RMF 35 zone in the Avenues, Central City, and Bryant neighborhoods. The planners assigned to this project have been helpful in responding to my questions. I am grateful because I might not have figured out some of the problems with the proposal by myself. Tonight, I want to address the concept of community benefit, which replaced the totally dysfunctional housing loss mitigation from the Corradini administration. The concept of community benefit was the result of Thriving in Place and the Affordable Housing Project. I volunteered on both efforts. Not only did the city get rid of the dysfunctional housing loss ordinance, it adopted a regulation which could provide housing which is accessible, less than 80% of AMI, or family-oriented. The rezoning of a property to a higher density and higher value would be part of a package to provide types of housing which the market would not generate. So I asked the question, where's the community benefit in the current RMF proposal? The answer is sobering. There isn't a requirement because the change will be citywide. A community benefit is only required for individual applications. In fact, the fact that the city is walking away from the diverse opportunities of the community benefit requirement and returning to the view that getting market rate and luxury housing is enough is crushing for me. Under the proposal for the RMF 35 and 45 zones, we don't even have the dysfunctional housing loss mitigation ordinance charade that we're doing something to obtain the types of housing the city needs. You got 16 seconds. If the loss of community benefit were the only unintended consequence of this proposal, I would still be opposed, but it's not. I'll be back. Thanks.
Next will be Margaret Holloway, followed by Polly Hartel, and then Jennifer Hartel. Margaret's here in person.
Good evening. Thought I'd just come, surprise you guys. I appreciate all your hard work to figure out who gets the grants for that. Habitat for Humanity, as an elderly person who lives in an older house, I can appreciate that. And all the other programs, it's a hard choice. I wanted to ask if you guys got the letter I sent on last month on February 7th about the man that was collapsed on UTA for 30 minutes. I sent to every single person here individually, plus the mayor's office, plus that, and the liaisons. And he was on that track train for 30 minutes, collapsed on the ground. Nobody knew if he was dead or alive. This came from a witness that was on the tracks. He was there through 4 stops. I'm hoping with the new police chief, maybe they can work with UTA, because everybody said, oh, that's UTA. But you had people coming from the airport that could be tourists, that could be visitors. You just showed off your city. By not doing anything with the gentleman laying on the ground, they didn't know if he was dead or alive for 30 minutes until tracks got him off in Glendale. They know where the stops are going to be. If there's 4 of them, they could have had a police officer there. They could have had UTA said, well, their guards were cleaning out track trains. Okay, no, I don't know why the police didn't get on there to at least to find out if the guy was dead or alive. But if he had been dead by the time on 24 South, it would have come back. The UTA said, yes, he was notified, and they were notified for 30 minutes. So I don't know if you guys all saw that. He was not dead. He was alive, and he was escorted off the tracks. I just wanted to let you know how it ended up, because I don't know if you guys even read that. But to me, that I don't care if it's UTA or not. I'm sorry, that represents our city. And then they got to come down North Temple and see all the people camping around North Temple, so it makes it even bad. But nobody knew, because there's cameras in those trains, and they're like, well, that's UTA. No, that looks bad.
Time. Next will be Polly Hartel, followed by Jennifer Hartel, and then M. Scott Green. Polly's here in person.
My name is Polly Hartel, and I am here with Bonnie. Thank you.
Next will be Jennifer Hartel, followed by M. Scott Green, and then Jim Webster. Jennifer's here in person.
My name is Jennifer Hartel. I'm here with Bernie Hart on behalf of the homeless of Salt Lake City. Thank you.
Next will be M. Scott Green, followed by Jim Webster, and then Bernie Hart. M is here in person.
I can't begin to imagine what it must feel like to know that you've taken the life of another individual, especially when you consider that person was somebody's son, brother, father, or friend. I first met Cameron almost 2 years ago in May of 2023, and we became even better friends when he moved across the hall from me at Palmer Court. Cameron loved to play the piano, and he was an amazing pianist. I have often heard that Utah in general, and even Salt Lake City, are 10 to 15 years behind the times. But this does not need to be so. I believe less lethal measures could have been implemented prior to taking Cameron's life. I believe the officers involved should respectfully retire their weapons, but be allowed to keep their badges as they were doing what they were paid to do, what they were trained to do. I believe that no amount of punishing anybody can bring Cameron back, but a change in the way we do things can add more validity to his life. When you treat people as though they're second class, you really show that you're the one that is second class. Thank you.
Next will be Jim Webster, followed by Bernie Hart, and then Andrew Whitmer. Jim is here in person.
My name is James Webster. I'm a landscape architect, and in addition to the work that ASSIST does, I also have done a lot of pro bono work, including writing the riparian ordinance. I've designed parks. I've been on various commissions and advisory boards over the years. One of the things that I have done was to write a CIP grant on 2 occasions, one of which was completed. In my lifetime, over 35 acres of viable open space has been lost just in the Yellcrest area. I wrote that CIP grant 8 years ago. Nothing has been done. The intent was to restore historic WPA walls from the Works Progress Administration and to restore the ecology and riparian habitat in that creek, including a lower pathway. Nothing has been done. The design work was completed. There is no need, and there never has been a need for any additional design work. That was established by petition signed by Senator Garn, the chair of the school board, former council member, or county council member Randy Horiuchi, and over 130 other constituents in that area. According to the city's contract, all construction was to have been completed by 2019. I have been here 6 years straight reminding you of that fact. This council diverted money from that for other purposes. To date, not one task has been completed, as I'd say it. The city's CIP initiative, I think, is in serious trouble.
Time. Next will be Bernie Hart, followed by Andrew Whitmer, and then Wendy Garvin. Bernie's here in person.
My name is Bernie Hart.
Time. Next will be Andrew Whitmer, followed by Wendy Garvin, and then Ann Ruth Isaacson. Andrew is here in person.
Hi, I'm Andrew Whitmer, and I'm homeless in Salt.
Next will be Wendy Garvin, followed by Ann Ruth Isaacson, and then Marco Garcia. Wendy is here in person.
Hi, I'm Wendy Garvin. It's nice to see you all tonight. I am here to speak about a pattern of abusive behavior with multiple police officers. I have reported this repeatedly to the council, to the mayor, and to the previous chief. I have filed IA reports with no results, Every time I spoke to anyone at the city, they always sent canned responses with no follow-through. Brent Keep encouraged a rookie to defile the body of Jason Lloyd. He's also one of 4 officers being sued for the positional asphyxiation of Nikon Brandon. Lane Wolfenbarger broke Agnes Martinez's leg, which went septic and required an amputation. He also threatened to shoot a dog that was safely tied up and then mocked the dog's helpless owner. Brent Mullinex was complicit in the Jason Lloyd incident and the incident with Agnes Martinez. Bridger Prince was complicit in the incident with the dog. I did file IA reports. The police department gave me no updates or responses for a year. When they finally updated me, the email said, "This investigation is complete," with no resolution or reports of disciplinary actions taken. Almost all of the abusive officers are still working on the streets of Salt Lake, with the exception of the one that quit after defiling a body. They are still targeting those most vulnerable. Each officer has now been involved in multiple high-profile lawsuits. To the members of this council, I implore you to link funding to a direct reduction in civil rights complaints. To the mayor and the mayor's office, there is still time to turn this department around. To the new chief, you have inherited an agency that has a problematic culture of abusing the unsheltered.
Next will be Ann Ruth Isaacson, followed by Marco Garcia, and then Devontae Washington Balthasar. Ann, you may now unmute.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Ann Ruth Isaacson. I live in Salt Lake City. I'm a licensed architect with more than 40 years of experience. I'm sharing that with you. Not only thank you for the history, woman recognition, but also I have a lot of experience in codes and building, etc. I moved to a beautiful historic building, there's 17 homes in it. It had zoning that we assumed, as most people do when they purchase, would remain. We weren't aware that over the pandemic, they were gonna build workarounds for developers. And now with the zoning merge coming, we're facing even greater threats. We went to Planning Commission, many people from our community speaking up for the protection of historic properties. We were pleased with some things put in the zoning merge, only to find out in January that they will only protect properties on the SLC local historic registry, but will not protect properties on the National Historic Registry. The simple solution we were giving is get on the local registry. Of course, a couple times we've tried to do it, we've got a lot of pushback saying we didn't need to be on it, we're already protected. And now that we're threatened by stuff going around us, they're saying it'll take up to a year. I'm going to speak to this many times until we get to the public hearing on the zoning merge. What I'm going to ask of you seriously is please protect the national historic properties in Salt Lake City. Change the zoning merge, add an amendment so that doesn't protect local historic properties. It protects all local and national landmark properties. Thank you, and I'll be speaking to you again. Bye.
Next will be Marco Garcia, followed by Devontae Washington Balthasar, and then Ronald Klum. Marco is here in person.
Good evening. My name is Marco Garcia. I'm an advocate with the Lumen Alliance. I've been doing this for about a year and a half. And today I want to talk to you about the criminalization against our homeless people that are either sheltered and how it impacts not just Salt Lake City, but them itself. I live in the Fair Park area, and I've seen the brutal way the policing is towards the homeless people. because of their camping, their camps that they set up, and 2 days later they get torn down. So what I'm asking for the new police chief that's going to be sworn in is like compassion, helping the homeless, like issue by giving affordable housing and making housing affordable for the people who are on the street, so they can get a warm place to sleep and hopefully warm food. Thank you.
Next will be Devontae Washington Balthazar, followed by Ronald Klum, and then Ksenia Konasiva. Devontae's here in person.
Hi, my name is Devontae Washington Balthazar. I'm honestly not as political as everyone else. And I've been in Utah for like 7 years, since 2007. And been homeless for like probably about 4 of those 7 on and off. I've witnessed a lot of what seems to be some type of ordinance within the precinct of how to go about this new camping law. They use entrapment, they try to provoke you, they're very, very hostile. And yeah, of course there's like a bunch of good cops probably every so often, but mixed in with the bad, it just makes people not want to interact with the police at all. I was really taken aback by what Wendy just said. I actually know her. I volunteer with the Second and Second Coalition, as well as the Showers of Hope and the Nomad Alliance. All good people, good places for homeless to go, especially during Code Blue. And me not being here, like from here, being from New Orleans, it's really surprising to see how this can just go over you guys' heads, why you guys aren't really involved, or how you don't really know anything about this, and why your faces are so surprising to see as the reactions from what I'm saying right now. Only have 42 seconds or 40 left. I'd just like to say that I would want to see a change. It's deplorable and kind of deterrent to even, as well as discouraging to even talk to you, to see if there's any type of hope or change that would happen for me speaking. But I would hope that you guys take our words seriously and give us hope in some type of progression. With 10, I'm gonna leave, but thank you for listening.
Next will be Ronald Klum, followed by Ksenia Konasiva, and then John Mendez. Ronald is here in person.
I'm just gonna keep it short. I got you if you got me. Me and the boys be happy to assist you. Welcome.
Hello, Ksenia Konasiva with the Nomad Alliance. It's a pleasure to meet you, Chief Red, and congratulations on your new position. Again, we work with the chronically unsheltered, the people that are out there for years, decades, and I can attest that the criminalization of homelessness keeps them on the street longer, and it makes their time out there much more difficult. We've seen and we've heard of horrendous experiences that the unsheltered are having, especially now with receiving the no camping tickets. Tabitha back there has received 14 no camping tickets. That means 14 times she has to go to court, 14 times she has to find someone to watch her stuff. And for many people, that's impossible. So then they miss a court date, then they have a warrant, then they won't get services and they won't get help. People have gotten no camping tickets for walking through Liberty Park in the middle of a day, not putting anything on the ground. Megan Moan was killed by the police on 1/11/22. 4 men kneeled on her until she couldn't breathe. She had a manic episode and she was looking for a bathroom and a safe place to be. at 3 a.m. in the middle of January. And the most recent viral news story about SLCPD's heinous actions mutilating a man's body it shows that there must be a culture shift and a culture change among the people that are meant to protect and serve all people, regardless of their income, regardless of the backpack they wear. I've also seen police officers carrying blankets and handing it out to people in winter and offering to spread the word about where movie night is when we first started that with Unsheltered Utah. It is cheaper to house people than to jail them and pay for
Time. Next will be John Mendez, followed by Amber Pond, and then Tabitha Smith. John is here in person.
Hi, I'm John Mendez. I've been on the streets for going on 6 years now, and living out here, it's been extremely rough. Like, we get treated like dirt. I lost two dogs last year because I was sleeping in an alley and I got slammed up against a fence. Like, it's no way to treat people. We're people too, you know, and like, I volunteer now with the Nomad Alliance, and like, it's been a big change. It's been a lot of help, but like, you guys got to do better, like a lot better, you know, because there's people out there that have lost everything, heirlooms they'll never be able to get back, memories and all that, just because they're supposedly camping when really we're just trying to survive and stay dry or warm during the winter or during the storm, you know, and it's not okay because, you know, that's to protect and serve. It's, we get nothing but bullied, and like, you know, that's not protecting or serving. That's causing people to fear you. It's not okay, you know.
Next will be Amber Pond, followed by Tabitha Smith. Amber is here in person.
Hi, I'm Amber Pond. I'm super nervous, sorry. So I'm also a woman in recovery. I've had 3 years clean yesterday off of meth and heroin. That being said, I was on the streets for 4 years, and I overcame that. I went to treatment, and by the grace of God, I'm clean now. But when I was on the streets, I was publicly humiliated multiple times by the police. All my stuff was taken. I went back once from the hospital, and my tent was gone. All my stuff was gone out of it. Everything I owned was gone. We need to do better. We need to do better. We need to treat people like human beings because we're all human. Yeah, let's just do better, please. Thank you.
Next will be Tabitha Smith, who's here in person.
Hello, my name is Tabitha Withrow. I've been homeless for almost 4 years. Our names probably get ran almost every day, every other day. Sometimes we can't help where we're at because if somewhere is full. And we get moved quite frequently, even if we're by the center, you know. I just wish things would get better because I don't think homelessness is a crime. I think it's just picking on homeless people. Thank you.
That was the final registered commenter.
Thank you, Taylor. And Council, I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege here. But first of all, I want to thank everybody for commenting tonight. And this is an exercise in your freedom. And I really appreciate that you came here to tell us your stories and your concerns. And I want to kind of echo what Councilmember Pui was alluding to earlier about thank you also to those who came in to speak on behalf of people who need service from our city and people who need service from us. And you know the challenges we face on where we divvy up that money to those different people. And I also need to thank the people who came before you to speak, and also those who will come again after you to speak. I'm forever grateful for your engagement. And I also, too, have concerns. And it might be a 5-alarm fire level of a concern. And this goes more to the federal level. Our democracy is under attack. Our rules of law are under attack. Our Constitution and our freedoms are under attack. And just to remind people, there are 5 freedoms. The freedom of speech, which you just exercised. The freedom of the press. The freedom of religion. The freedom to assemble. And the freedom of petition your government for making changes. So you just kind of exercised a couple of those because you kind of are petitioning your government to make some changes. And I really want to say that I appreciate that, and we need more of that. We need to make sure that we're raising our voices, because the attacks only get stronger if we remain silent. And when our apathy just goes, someone else can solve this problem, the attacks get stronger and stronger. So please don't silence yourself. Keep your voices strong and speak out. And I'm just going to finally, just one quote from an old guy. This old guy's name is Plato. He's well before my time. And he said, "The price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. So don't be silent. Keep your voices strong, and let's make sure we defend our democracy." Thank you very much. We will now move on to item new business. Ordinance of Economic Development Loan Fund, Cold Plunge Coffee, LLC. I look for a motion.
I move that the council adopt the ordinance approving $100,000 loan for Cold Plunge Coffee LLC from the Economic Development Loan.
Second.
I have a motion for Councilman Pui, second from Councilman Lopez Chavez. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. Item E2, legislative action R1 Single Family Residential District Proposed Zoning Text Amendment. I look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that the council adopt a legislative action initiating a text amendment to consolidate and simplify the R1 single-family residential districts, including updates to the residential flag lot standards, the addition of new housing options, and, to the extent possible, eliminating barriers to home ownership and considering similar changes to other low-density districts such as the R2, SR1, and SR1A zones. The intent is to continue to study the benefits and impacts through the process of drafting, engaging the public, and finalizing a proposal leading to consideration by the Planning Commission and potential adoption by the Council. Specifically, the Council wants to identify how these potential changes impact the affordable housing incentives and city goals related to housing, walkability, and water conservation. A guiding principle of the Council is to increase home ownership opportunities for families in Salt Lake City. It is a priority of this Council to include affordable, missing middle housing options along with family-sized housing in any text amendment.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Councilman Mano, second from Councilman Pui. Any discussion on this item?
Mr. Chair, just want to, I think we made this clear in our work session, a previous work session on a previous day, but that for the benefit of anyone that's listening now, that voting to move forward with this isn't voting on the final changes. We're just voting to direct staff to move forward in the process, and that we will consider those changes again once it's gone through that process. So I'm ready to make that vote today, not committing to how I would vote once it's gone through the process.
Thank you, Councilmember Wharton. So we have a motion from Councilmember Mono, second from Councilmember Pui. The further discussions, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. And moving on to item number 3, advice and consent, Director of Public Lands, Kim Shelley. I will look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the nomination for this position.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Wharton, a second from Councilmember Young. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. Congratulations. Welcome aboard. And advice and consent, Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd.
Chair, I move to approve the appointment of Brian Redd as Chief of Police for Salt Lake City Police Department.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Petro, a second from Councilmember Pui. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Chief, congratulations. We have no unfinished business. We're going to the consent agenda. I will look for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion for Councilman Wharton, a second for Councilman Young. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously, and we are adjourned.